People usually pay to see me dancing, just so you know. But anyways, today I'm gonna do it for free for you, because I'm just that nice. As you notice that gorgeous hairpin in my hair, I'm going to show you how I done it because I done it myself and I'm really proud about it. So, first thing is, we need to choose the color of the clay and the brand of the clay. I'm using Fimo, but it's not a rule, you can use whichever polymer clay you want, which you have access to, but I had Fimo and it's not very fresh one, so I'm struggling to condition it. That's why I decided to slice it into smaller pieces and knead each piece separately so it will be easier on my hands, and this is just I found the way that works best for me. If you have a fresh clay, it's probably you don't have this problem and you can knead the whole thing at a time. Once polymer clay is properly conditioned, which I mean is soft and feels like a Play-Doh, I am putting it through the pasta machine. Well, there is actual proper things for polymer clay, but as far as of my experiences, pasta machine working just amazing. And once I have my sheet of the base color done, I'm starting to work on the details. So for the details I decided to do flowers, and I'm gonna use another shade of purple, which I am conditioning right now, and as it is a very small piece, I don't need to split it into a lot of pieces because it's easy to knead. For the flower petals, which I decided to do, what I simply done, I roll a sausage from the clay, and now using my sharp razor blade, I'm cutting tiny pieces of equal parts of clay, and from those I will shape flower petals. I must admit it is a really long process to make some kind of polymer clay art, because this is just like very speedy video right now. I'm not working that fast even if I would want to. To make these hairpins took for me nearly 3 hours maybe, but good thing is that I found it really therapeutic and I really enjoying doing that, and I'm kind of meditating. So once I positioned my dark purple petals the way I wanted to, I took a tiny needle, like it could be a sewing needle if you have it at home. I have some tailor spins which I'm using for that. Basically it must be very tiny and very sharp thing which you're gonna use for shaping out your design. Well, I wanted kinda messy looking flowers, kinda like a daisies, kind of like some kind of wildflowers, just in purple, and I'm just scratching the surface to create a texture. You don't need any specific tools unless you have them, but if you have just a regular household items, the basic sewing needle, safety pin, all that gonna be just fine. For flower middles, I decided to use not the usual yellow, but shade of white. It's not like white, it's kinda very light gray, but I call it just white because after touching my hands it's not gonna be pure white anyways. Well, I'm that clean. However, well, for this design I wanted to have a lot of textures, so I'm even dotting those flower middles with a needle to create that like a kind of realistic looking texture of the flower. Not necessarily it means that it looks like a real flower, but I just wanted to add as much details as possible. And actually, when you're working with polymer clay and you want to add some textures, there is literally no rules for that. Whatever you can think of can create a texture, even it's a like rough fabric, it is conker, it's, I don't know, basically everything. If you have even ink stamps, maybe you can work with that. Absolutely everything, brush, combs, anything. Everything can make a texture. And once I am happy with my final design, after I put some dots in between those flowers, I started to measuring my huge hair clips to fit into the polymer clay shape. I wanted to make 2 pins, and I understood that it's not gonna be possible because the clay sheet is tiny little bit too small, which is a shame. So you should be cautious about the size of the base and the design you wanted to achieve. Basically, I don't know how to say, like, just count the square meters. And once I'm more or less happy about the size and the shape, I start to cut it. And I'm using the same razor blade I have, and this is the special one designed to cut polymer clay. There is longer ones, which probably I would prefer, but I have only short ones, so still, that's alright. However, if you have that like utility knife, I found it difficult to work with it because for some reason polymer clay sticks to it. I don't know why. If you can manage to do that, do that. There is no rules again. But I found those lines, cuts very clean with this type of razor blade. And when I'm finished with that, I'm putting onto the white sheet and baking now. In the oven according to the package instructions. And that's it, it's baked. But it's not finished. I need to sand the rough edges of it. I'm using very fine sandpaper, and when it's good, I just glued up the hair clips. Seems like I can't speak clearly today for some reason. And for the last touches, I'm using UV resin just to give that glossy look and add a little bit of strength, because sometimes polymer clay can be a little brittle. I will put it under UV light or just direct sunlight, and that will be it. Completely done.